Waiting for the next season of House of the Dragon's not easy, especially after Season 1's cliffhanger. However, fans are keeping themselves busy in the meantime by bouncing theories, especially over the release date. The wait was tough enough, but now Steve Toussaint, who's fueling the rumor mill with his own earth-shattering predictions about Season 2. Let's see what's in store for fans in the next season, including high-stakes drama, dragons, and revenge. First off, Season 2 will complete filming in 8 months. Good things take time, and when it's the next part to the extraordinarily good series, House of the Dragon, it's sure to launch a worthy sequel. In this case, it's possibly going to take another 8 months to complete filming. The shooting itself is expected to kick off sometime in March of 2023. This means it'll be an even longer while before we get to an official announcement regarding the release. Confirming this report, fan favorite Ewan Mitchell suggested the show's filming would go on for much of next year. Fans who were hoping to be surprised with a New Year's reveal of Season 2 will have to do with rewatches of Season 1 for now. This doesn't have to be bad news though, since Season 1 gained wide popularity for its introduction of new casts and characters. As a prequel to the acclaimed series Game of Thrones, it added plenty of new layers to the plot in terms of character motivations and background of the story. It makes sense then that Season 2, which aims to up the game, literally and figuratively, is taking its sweet time. But just how long will that be for the next season from filming to completion? Now, what's the expected release date for Season 2? As a prequel to the Game of Thrones saga, House of the Dragon was always meant to be a slow burn. It has the duty of not just creating a compelling universe of its own, but also of matching up to the timeline of the Game of Thrones world. Balancing all those tasks is bound to bring the release date of the latest season up to 2024. This comes straight from the creator of the universe, George R.R. Martin, who's coincidentally notorious for taking a long time in his creative process. Still, it's this patience that's a bit frustrating for fans eager to see the story move forward. That brought us 8 incredible seasons of Game of Thrones. That same patience might bring us its sweet fruit in the form of Season 2 from the prequel. Let's look at the factors that go into bringing a season on screen. Releasing a show's definitely not as easy as filming it and just slating it for release right after. The show that promises the battle between the Blacks and Greens and the comeback of Rhaenyra will need a bit of finessing before it's ready for fans. Adding to the trickiness of the post-production is the monumental challenge of continuity. For the uninitiated, this means lining up things just right from the conclusion of Season 1. The latest season will bring things to a boil, but for that, it must dance with its predecessor and match steps accordingly. Otherwise, the magic of the show will not only suffer, but it will also bring down the series as a whole. Perhaps that was what George Martin had in mind when he compared his creation to the Star Wars model. He's not a stranger to the risks and rewards of creating and expanding a universe such as this one. If not done correctly, it can very easily crash and burn. That Game of Thrones was able to do that for such a long time is a sign of literally the long duration it took to build the series one step and one episode at a time. Things look to be headed the same way for House of the Dragon 2, perhaps reflecting on the dramatic tension of the HBO series itself. Fans are also tensing up before the release of Season 2. Nonetheless, they are keeping themselves busy shooting their shot at a possible release date for the second season. With Season 2 preparing to wrap up sometime in November of next year, you can be sure there are plenty more fan theories to come. As of now, here's what the fans are predicting as the tentative premiere date of the second season, not to mention the fandom's eager to get the ball rolling. It's barely been 3 months since the first season wrapped up, and there's already buzz growing for Season 2. Much of this is down to the loyal and faithful fandom of the Dragon. It's also worth mentioning that the fandom itself's only been growing since, with OG Game of Thrones fans crossing over into the prequel's fanbase. All of this sets the stage for a lot of guesswork and not a little wishful thinking. Still, if there's anyone used to waiting, it's the George R.R. Martin fanbase. Season 1 made that pretty clear, as it took 18 months to complete its production work. A similar timeline for Season 2 is also predicted, so the earliest we might get to catch even the second season's first episode will be June of 2024. To their credit, fans might be pretty spot on, since they've actually done some good detective work. We guess there's little else to do in the absence of official announcements and no weekly episodes to look forward to. What's more, fans' guessworks backed by heavy-duty thinking. George Martin would definitely be proud of the viewership his Galaxy of Dragons has fanned, in a sign of its critical eye and intelligent appraisal, not to mention a display of patience. Fans of the show have cited the time taken for CGI to come to perfection. This process is not made easier or quicker by the heavy use of VFX that goes fans with the job of creating lifelike dragons on screen. Season 2 will also contain more of those than the previous season because it features more action sequences. Creating these moving marvels of technology will also require a longer time in post-production where a lot of the CGI is added or modified. One of the biggest indicators of the enormity of this task is the creation of a dedicated CGI or VFX unit on sets like this. It's a mission that takes a whole team and a lot of time. Up next is the fandom's unofficial prediction match up to the official updates. While fans have predicted a spring 2024 release date, the actual release date may take longer because as of now an official release date is pending. HBO, the production company behind the show, is busy with shooting, so there's little to no press activity on the show. All the details, even the ones from the creators and cast, are merely guesses. Informed ones, yes, but guesses all the same. Safe to assume it will stay that way for a while since this suspense will keep the fan predictions going. The anticipation will also make the official announcement's climax much more exciting. Yet, where fans cannot curb their enthusiasm for their favorite show, the cast is barely holding itself together, spilling out exciting news on the directions in which Season 2 might go. There's no one better to comment on this than someone on the inside, the actor playing Lord Corlys himself. So let's hear it from the Lord of Driftmark. Let's look at the revenge plot teasing fans' minds. The actor playing Lord Valyrian showed us he's as excited for the upcoming season as we are. He's done a lot of thinking about the continuation of the show. This is only fair since the role he's playing requires him to be pretty thoughtful as well, as he's the head of a dynasty. His biggest target and possible nemesis in that role will be Rhaenyra Targaryen. The stakes he's involved in are also higher, as he's also got to look out for the Hightowers who need to be dealt with in a decisive manner. Let's learn more about how Season 2 might add to the revenge saga. The death of Valerian's grandson and the treachery of the Hightowers go hand in hand, or sword in chest, bringing the revenge saga to a boil. From what we've seen in the sequel to the series Game of Thrones, nothing goes amiss. It might come back to haunt you some episodes later, or even some seasons later, or even some seasons after, but any evil always gets answered sooner or later. The Hightowers backstabbing is certainly the definition of evil. As such, it will receive its due in revenge or perhaps an all-out war between the two factions. Who will avenge who and how will they do it? For now, there's no clear clue on that front, not even from Toussaint, who's actually not seen the script for Season 2 yet. Still, revenge as a dish is said best served cold. Season 2's revenge angle will also be delivered in cold blood, as we've come to expect of the murderous but magical creations of GRRM. Finally, Steve Toussaint's giving us some insider information. What was better, the book or the TV series? Sometimes though, books and their adaptations can complement each other. This was revealed by the actor's recent revelations about Valerian's motivations. Not only were these motivations clarified by the actor, but they were also hinted at throughout Fire and Blood, because the book is the basis of the events of the House of the Dragon, so it's really a case of insider information. Directly from the pages of the novel itself, you only have to read it to get a dose of spoilers. Still, what makes the adaptation special is not a literal page-for-page translation of the book, but its emotional sensitivity when bringing it to the screen. In that same way, you can expect Luke's death to be dealt with in a new and original way, yet with the same background as the novel's events. This is at least partly because of the moving acting and the exceptional storyboarding that fans of the series have come to expect. With Season 2 taking its time to chalk out all these details, we're confident that there will be heartbreak, murder, and sensitivity all bundled up into the Season 2 of our favorite show on HBO right now. But that's all for this video, my friends. When do you think Season 2 will come out, and if so, what storylines are you most looking forward to? We'd love to know your opinions in the comments below. Do hit the like button if you like this video, and remember to subscribe to our channel for more updates. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.